Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Cross Circle, the official podcast for PlayStation Source. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley. Joining me this week after a 2-week break is Mr. Kevin Diaz. How you doing, sir?
What is going on? How you doing? Doing good. Apologies for the 2-break hiatus. You know what I'm saying? The first week was just because there wasn't really a lot to talk about, honestly. And then second week I was out of town, unfortunately. But we back.
Enjoy yourself?
Tan. I did. I got very, very tan. So I forgot that the resort we booked at, it was all inclusive. You know what I'm saying? So that obviously includes food and drinks as well. So
not bad.
Your boy had a very good time overall. So, you know, very, very good stuff. So
playing good games.
I started Hollow Knight. We haven't talked about that privately.
Nice.
I started Hollow Knight. I didn't spend a lot of time into it just because it was just times when I was on the plane, so I'm not really that into it. I'd say probably not even 2 hours, probably like hour and a half tops maybe. So far I'm intrigued. I'm enjoying it. Very
dude,
good.
The world is what pulled me along.
Yeah, I like the world overall. I like to call it voice acting is, you know, not
it's
really, it is, but like just the way that they use voices and that's really cool and everything. The combat is really fun. I am still trying to learn how to take down those big knights. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning of that world.
Once you figure it out, it's easier to wrap your head around. It's still challenging, but yeah.
So I'm still trying to figure that out. But
and I know I've gotten some people asking if I know if Hollow Knight's coming to PS4. I don't know. I assume it will eventually, but it's sold.
I feel like it might, yeah.
It's sold insanely well on the Switch. I think within 2 weeks it sold 250,000.
That's great.
Yeah.
But seriously, enjoying the game. You're absolutely right. Totally see why this is like one of your Game of the Year competitors.
Oh,
definitely get the appeal. Yeah. But I haven't picked it up or touched it since my vacation. I want to. I plan on it here in a few days, but we'll see. I'll come back and I'll give my updates on Hollow Knight. But overall, enjoying it. Good vacation. What about you, sir? How was your 2-week hiatus from the cast, sir?
Didn't do much outside of working on a few school things. I downloaded No Man's Sky again because I bought it digitally. I didn't buy it again because I had it digitally like the first week it came out, and I was someone who enjoyed No Man's Sky because I didn't have wild expectations going in, and as they did those big updates, I think they did 3 big updates since the launch. Every time there was a big one, I hopped back in for like a couple nights just to mess around with it because it was fun exploring and just like chilling out, putting some music on. But a couple friends of mine, the 3 of us started a new profile and we've been just going through the galaxies and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
So me, I bought it day one, obviously, you know, based off all the hype, whatever. And I was definitely in the camp of like, I'm enjoying myself, but I really don't see myself spending a ton of time outside of like the first 2 weeks of release in the game, whatever. And that's kind of what happened to me personally. But based off of, I mean, right now, what you said basically, and also Alana Pierce's tweet. I don't know if you saw her tweet yesterday about it. Yeah, so she was feeling it. I'm like, I'm like, I think it's, well, right now, I'm re-downloading right now, so I say we definitely set aside those comments, dedicate probably a cast to it for the next few weeks, and just go over it. Yeah, because me, I feel like it definitely soured me, but I won't say as incredibly soured as like a lot of people are on it, for sure. On the topic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it gets a lot of hate.
Yeah, also, there's a lot to be said about how they're kind of handling this game now, at least with Sean Murray and everything.
I have a lot of respect for the effort they put into making it what they want it to be. Yeah,
so I definitely say we definitely talk about it in another cast for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure, yeah.
So we're going to do something a little different for this episode. If you've watched the last few episodes of the show, you probably know that, like we've discussed on the show, there isn't much news going on right now. Obviously, like we just talked about, No Man's Sky got that big update. That's probably the biggest news story of the past couple weeks. So what we're going to do instead, for the foreseeable future, I think, unless there's some crazy story that drops, we're going to be doing a fall 2018 video game preview over the next few episodes of the cast. And sorry about that, I forgot to mute. So we're going to be going over one game per episode, and this week we're starting with one of these sooner releases for the fall, technically late summer, but that is Spider-Man PS4. So, well, especially Marvel Spider-Man. I'm still so used to calling it Spider-Man PS4 because of the hashtag.
I'm gonna forever call it Spider-Man PS4. Yeah. I'm not gonna call it Marvel. Yeah, I'm gonna call it Spider-Man PS4.
So,
I don't know.
Before we get into it, though, for the fall preview, basically format is going to be, we're going to be taking one game, usually by the order they're going to be releasing. Not every game, just the ones we feel like we should talk about. So next week would be something later in September, maybe Tomb Raider or something that we could have a discussion over as it continues, probably until, would you say Red Dead is probably like the furthest out release date that's really big, unless you want to talk about like Just Cause or something. But
I mean, we can talk about why Just Cause has a fourth game in this series. I'll talk about that. I don't get that, but
so if there's games that you guys want to hear us talk about,
game I feel like in December is Smash Bros. But I mean,
right?
Like
So
other than that, yeah, I think November's looking pretty dry. So I think probably the last major hit is probably Red Dead. Yeah, I'm thinking, unless we're missing something crazy in October. I mean, November that we're missing. But
well, there's Fallout, but we don't know much about that yet right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. Today, though, we're starting with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man comes out on September 7th. So that is very, very soon, actually. We're almost in August, which I can't believe.
I know, it feels like, dude, how are we already in August? But it
feels like E3 was like a week ago.
It does feel like E3 was like a week ago, honestly. But Spider-Man's looking great overall. Just like, give me your... What do you expect out of this game from, like, a reception standpoint? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think it's going to be looked at as, like, a God of War? Is it going to be looked at as, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are we feeling about Spider-Man?
I'm thinking it's going to get a lot of 10s, a lot of high 9s. And I think that the reception is going to be similar to the Arkham games. Right. I don't know if it's going to have as big of a critical impact as something like a God of War did, because that's not what they're going for, you know? They're not going for this captivating, incredibly deep story. They're just, they want to make a game where you are Spider-Man, which really has not been done well for me for a long time. Spider-Man it goes back and forth between him and Batman for my favorite superhero, but love Spider-Man. So I have a lot of high hopes for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's gonna do great. Again, like you said, I don't think it's gonna be looked at as like a God of War or like a Last of Us or being crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's an angle that it could really go either way, right? I feel that like this game, I think personally, is gonna be somewhere in the 8 to 10 range, you know, maybe the lowest being an 8, you know what I'm saying? But I think, honestly, if the gameplay is that good, and if it's that fun, and if it's that cool to unlock new abilities, and that cool to explore the world and everything that they're making, it being, I think, 4 times bigger than Sunset Overdrive, from what they said, whatever. And I've always said, at least right now, in the current space right now, right, if we're looking at all the devs that we have available, right, I think there's 2 that can make a really good Spider-Man game. I think it was Sucker Punch, and it was Insomniac.
Right.
I think those 2, you're gonna get a good one, right? I don't think anyone else can do it up to the par of those 2 devs. So now we have Insomniac, which I thought for a long time, before Ghost was even announced, that like I thought they were working on the Spider-Man game.
Well, yeah, that was the rumor.
Yeah, that was the rumor. I wish if they were, dude. But it's all good. Insomniac, I'll take it. It's all good. But I think that I think it has potential to even be up amongst God of War, or it could be mediocre. Like I think
I really don't think it's gonna end up being a mediocre game.
I think it's less likely.
I can't see this getting anything like even a 7 or lower. Like I think the craft that Insomniac puts into their games. I don't think they've ever made a game that wasn't at least fun that I've played. At the very least, I've played, I think, all of the Ratchet and Clank games. I never played Fuse or whatever that was called, so I don't know if that was any good. But Sunset Overdrive, really, really fun. Incredibly...
I didn't play Sunset.
I played it at my friend's house. It's very, very satisfying. So I think if you have to look at it as what it's going for, and I think that's how it's going to be received so well, because look at the history of Spider-Man games. There's arguably only a handful of standouts. I don't even think Spider-Man 2 is that great.
For me, my favorite Spider-Man game of, a previous, form was Treyarch's Ultimate Spider-Man. Remember that one on the PS2?
Oh, yes.
I don't know.
Yes. I remember that.
That one, I was obsessed.
Yeah.
Game. Obsessed.
My two favorite Spider-Man games were Spider-Man from Neversoft on the PS1. Big fan of that one. And I liked Web of Shadows because of the freedom they had in there. But other than that, like, I played Spider-Man 3 and I had fun with it because it was a Spider-Man game on my PS3 at the time,
Yeah, I also got Spider-Man 3. I didn't enjoy it as a kid, but it's all good. I definitely prefer Ultimate Spider-Man, for sure.
Like, I think if you look at it from a standpoint of Insomniac wanting to make a game where they really nail everything about Spider-Man the same way Rocksteady nailed Batman, because I think it's going to be received very, very well and be a Game of the Year contender because of what it is, because there's not really anything else like it. The same way we look at Arkham. I know we're going to be comparing some other stuff to Arkham as it comes down because really Arkham is the standout superhero game in any other form, Marvel or DC,
Big facts, for sure.
So,
for sure, I agree. What was I gonna say?
I have a few things written down if you want to start going through Spider-Man stuff.
Go ahead, but like I just want to end off personally saying like I don't think it's going to be mediocre or bad, right? I don't think so. I feel like there's probably a slight chance that it might. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out there. Maybe like there is a future. You know what I'm saying? Doctor Strange saw like 13 million, whatever the hell, different futures. Like probably saw one where like Spider-Man PS4 ends up being somewhat bad. I hope not. I don't think it'll be, because I think based off what we're seeing and everything and off the gameplay, I think we have a good game here. I think it's solid to say we have a pretty solid game here that we're gonna get. Just based off of it, just being fun. I think the biggest takeaway that we're gonna get from Spider-Man PS4 is that amongst the really cool story and the creative separations that they're gonna take from not being attached to the comics and stuff like that, and not being attached to any sort of other world that they have to coexist in, just doing their own thing. And that being cool, I think they're just gonna nail gameplay. I think gameplay is gonna be super tight. It's gonna be super fun overall. So I think the gameplay, I think it's just gonna be like fun to play personally. Period. And that's gonna be the major takeaway. But you had notes. You said you were gonna.
Yeah. So first, I just want to do a quick shout out to that new PS4 Pro that got announced because.
Oh my god, so good.
So, if you remember. Not the audience. Last year, I was going to upgrade to a PS4 Pro.
Yep.
And some very traumatic mishap happened with that. Ended up losing my PS4. Had to buy a Slim.
Horrible.
So, I think this one might get me.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have a Pro. Dude, get this one.
Yeah.
Dude, you're going to regret not getting this one. Because I wish I can get this Pro.
I have to see where the budget is right now and how much I can get for my Slim by itself. But, yeah, I might end up getting that Pro.
Dude, you have to get the Pro, man.
It's a good-looking Pro.
You gotta get it, bro. You gotta get it, dog. You gotta get it. And, because, like, what also I like about, this limited edition thing they're doing here is that they're releasing it on both a regular PS4 Slim and a Pro. Unlike the Days of Play, which I would love to have right now. I want that as a Pro so bad.
That's a nice
so
one,
bad. It literally... Listen, blue and yellow are my favorite colors ever. Right? And the fact that they have a blue and yellow PS4 that looks that good, and it's not in a Pro, it just... I can't sleep at night, dude. I can't sleep at night.
It's interesting because someone told me that the Spider-Man Slim is just for other territories, not for the US. I haven't looked into that, but
Seriously?
apparently that's what it is. So PlayStation's really weird with the way they distribute their limited edition stuff.
Yeah,
So.
and then also they have separate bundles. I put in the video this week. I put up on Monday. Check it out, guys. Check it out. But in that video, they're also putting out different bundles for if you don't want the redesigned console. They have different bundles that just have like a regular PS4 Pro with a 1 terabyte, regular PS4 with a Slim or 1 terabyte, etc. Those with the game included and stuff like that, and all the extra goodies you get, like the DLC pack, the 3-chapter DLC pack. The name escapes me right now, but you get that as well with it. So everything that you would get originally with the Spider-Man bundle, just not the redesigned console. Which, if you somehow don't like that redesign, you can get that if you wanted to. But
and I understand the why they're doing this, because they know the game is going to sell consoles, so it's a smart idea.
It's definitely going to sell. Yeah, so I totally get it, but I don't get why anyone would not want that redesign, man. Like, that design is great.
Another thing I wanted to mention was there was that big Target mishap with a bunch of coupons recently, and
Target.
So a week ago there was this thing where people were able to stack coupons at the Target website and get huge discounts on things. My friend got a Xbox One X for $200.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Wait.
So,
oh my God! Wait, an X?
Yeah, you got an X.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah,
I was on vacation. I was unaware of that.
Yeah, people were walking out with Switches for like $150. Like, it was bad. So
that's insane.
Yeah, so I didn't want a console, so I was like, oh, I'll just pre-order a couple games. So I pre-ordered Spider-Man, Dragon Quest, and Red Dead, and I think it came out to the price of one game for the 3 of those. And then
wow. Wait, all like paid for or just pre-ordered?
Pre-ordered, paid for.
Damn.
So I saw some people, like, when they were going to pick up their stuff the next day, if they were going, like, middle of the day, it got canceled. My friend went right when Target opened, so he was able to grab the X. So I was assuming my thing was going to get canceled. But days went by, and the thing still stood. But 2 days ago, we're recording on Thursday, 2 days ago I got the email saying that it got canceled. So I lost my pre-order. $60, I assume? Yeah, I got it all back and everything. It wasn't a... Because Target doesn't charge until it ships, so they did so. But
that's unfortunate. That's sad.
Yeah, so
that's tragic.
I missed out on the pre-order bonuses that we're going to talk about next. There's that segue.
That was a nice segue. Good one.
So there's 3 pre-order skins you get, and you can unlock them in the actual game. You don't have to pre-order. But you get earlier access, I think is what they said, if you pre-order, or you get it more immediately.
I think you get it just day one, like right when you start the game.
Yeah, you don't have to actually
skins.
Unlock it in game. So the
skins
skins are the Spider-Punk, which I know you have opinions on, the Iron Spider from Infinity War, and the Velocity suit. And before we talk about those 3, there's been several interviews with different people from Insomniac saying there are several suits in the game. They just kept drafting suits because they're going through like Spider-Man comics and saying, oh, that suit's really cool, oh, that suit's really cool, I'm just gonna design it, and if you're like, I already designed it, so we might as well put it in. So lots of suit variations, and it's interesting because they've said that suits are gonna have unique abilities.
Yeah, so actually, I was a bit confused about that a few months ago, right? So I did a whole video. I think it was when they announced the Infinity War, that suit for the Order or whatever. So I did a video on that, and I mentioned, it'd be really cool if you could use those
the legs.
Yeah, like those like legs in game, whatever. But I wasn't aware that there was actually a special ability that every suit has.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
that's
think
cool.
of this as like how it was explained to me and how I read up, whatever. Just like think of it as like your super, you know what I'm saying, or like a power up. Like it's like a special ability that like every suit has, even the ones that come in the game have it. And it does like a unique ability. So that's what it is. So the Iron Legs is what's presumed to be that suit's special super and everything. But each one has it, so I'm assuming it might be like maybe you press the touchpad or something like that, or
Yeah, I
R2,
saw the
L2 something. But
I was looking through an interview earlier. The Spider-Punk suit has a AoE attack that you pull out a guitar and just like you play it and it does some attack on people around the area. So it's cool stuff. I know you're not a fan of Spider-Punk suits, so you can talk about that for a minute if you want.
Not a fan. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, like every time I bring it up in the video, I get those people that, you know, they think that they're right, and like it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have your opinion, it's all good. But I not a fan of Spider-Punk. And like me, honestly, when it comes to open world games, when I'm playing as a character that's not meant to be me, right? I usually try to stick with like the more default skins, right? You know what I'm saying? Like even when playing through God of War, there were different armor sets that gave you like different
I never
like,
put a chest plate on them.
Yeah, like there were chest plates. It's like, oh, like I don't want
it was wrong.
Kratos to wear that. It just looked, to me, it looked off, right? So I think we're kind of like the same on that. Like I just don't want to wear, and like I know it was better for playing through because it gave you better stats and everything and stuff like that. But I didn't so like I just kept to like if it was the shoulders, okay, I lived with it. There was one like it was like this yellow like leather type of
I wasn't into a lot of those designs.
Yeah, I was not into it at all. Like I just wanted to keep my default Kratos looking like how he is, right? So at least to me, when it comes to open world games where I'm not playing myself, I don't like to do different suits. Like
I understand that being said,
yeah. So like with Iron Spider, even I don't think I'd even rock that. I feel the only 3 suits that I would rock was the default Insomniac skin, the one with the white big spider, which I actually kind of like now. Like,
I liked it.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it when it first came out, and my roommate definitely doesn't like it. But I've warmed up to it as of now. I definitely like it. The Velocity suit, which I know you don't like, the third pre-order one, I dig it. I dig it. I think it's a better looking Iron Spider suit a little bit. Honestly, I like them both, but I definitely like the Velocity probably like a little bit more. And then there's also in the trailer, which I broke down in the video on Monday. Make sure to go check that out. Our latest Spider-Man video. There was actually a little clip in the trailer that they released for it was San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
There is a like 5-second clip of Spider-Man in his regular plain Jane Spider-Man suit.
Yeah,
like the one that we're all used to. Yeah,
like imagine, think of Spider-Man. That's the outfit,
Yes, yeah. He was in that, like without the white on it from like Atomic Design. That looks super clean. So I'm probably gonna rock one of those 3. I'm thinking, unless there's some crazy blue and yellow suit, definitely gonna do that. I doubt it, but yeah. So I'm probably gonna rock one of those 3. But yeah, what do you think you'll be rocking suit wise? Like, are you gonna rock the Spider-Punk? You think or?
I don't like Spider-Punk is the one that's cool and I like the design of. I just don't know if I'd use it.
Right.
Out of those 3, the one I'd probably use is the Iron Spider because that's my phone case is the Iron Spider suit from Infinity War.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a cool design. There's some other stuff that they've shown off that aren't pre-order bonuses that I'm into. Spider-Man Noir is in there. That's a cool one. Again, I don't know if I'd use that. But what I want to see is I'd love to see the Todd McFarlane design of Spider-Man. That one is I like that one a lot. It's
Todd McFarlane?
Yeah, it's like gigantic eyes.
Let me see.
Like 90% of the mask is his eyes. Like really lanky. I think he has like the web pits. It's like that was the Spider-Man design I knew from the comics growing up, and I've always loved that one, so it would be cool if they throw that in there.
Right, that's actually very similar to the Ultimate Spider-Man one from
it's
the
close.
games. Yeah, like the eyes are super big and everything. Similar.
I'd also, I hope, I feel like they will because of what they've said in interviews about movie representation. It would be cool to see the Tobey Maguire suit, even though I've never been like a huge fan of that one. I just feel like it'd be fun to mess around with a lot of the different suits.
Yeah,
but
I feel that. Yeah, I feel like they most likely will.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Me, I didn't grow up on comics, you know what I'm saying? But I did grow up, obviously, on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, of course. Like, I feel like everyone did at our age, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be cool to see that one. I probably won't rock it. Because, in my opinion, I know I'm not talking movies, but No, never mind. I'm like,
Yeah. Okay.
Never mind. Because
So-
I'm like, wait, like I don't think I actually believe that, but
So there are more skins coming on the way. I want to hear as many Spider-Man skin ideas. So if you have any of those, you can comment. But moving on. Oh, what
is the default, but the regular Homecoming suit, the one by Stark, is that one in PS4?
They haven't said anything about it, so don't know.
I feel like probably a good chance, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're gonna get like over 30 different costumes in this thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be
So-
gonna be a ton for sure.
Odds are, if you can think of it, that's probably gonna be in here.
Probably.
But they do have a lot more to reveal for the suits. They also have to reveal some villains moving forward. We have a handful already confirmed. I'll go through those really quick. I think this is in order of reveal. Mr. Negative, Shocker, Fisk, got Electro, Scorpion, Rhino, Vulture, and Silver Sable. We've also seen a look at Norman Osborn, not in a goblin persona, just Norman Osborn. We're also wondering about Doc Ock because of there was that speculation with that trailer from E3.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about this later in the podcast. Venom. We can touch on that later.
Ooh.
I have other Venom things to talk about. So
Really? Okay.
yes. So I think that's a great lineup so far. Like
Yeah. It's looking solid, looking good. In the E3 trailer, we both agree that we think that's Doc Ock that he's talking about. We're saying like it's like
most
what is it,
likely, yeah,
Hugh?
that's the most likely option.
I think it is just based off of also the voice actor. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
There was
you know what I'm
those.
saying?
Mhm.
I mean, yeah. So I think you put two and two together. It's pretty obvious that was
Yeah, and like
know,
Doc Ock is an iconic one, you know. So if he wasn't
for sure,
in here,
For sure.
you know,
Be really weird. Yeah.
like
it'd
same
be a
thing.
weird
I'm
hole.
assuming there's gonna be a goblin. If it's Norman or Harry, I don't know, but I'm assuming we're getting a goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good lineup
And-
because Spider-Man has a really, really great rogues gallery. So they have a lot to
Yeah.
pull from, and Silver Sable is interesting because she's kind of like a lesser, like a B, C tier anti-hero sort of character. So it's interesting they pulled her, so I'm looking forward to seeing if they have any other like deep cuts moving forward, but yeah, I don't know. Is there any villain you want to see?
Because I mean, for me, I mean, they really got everyone that I'm interested in. As far as I'm concerned, obviously, like I'm not the most well versed in Spider-Man comics per se, and like Spider-Man lore. Overall, I know a thing or two, but not like a ton.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said about like they are pulling the stops on having a lot of villains in this, right?
Yeah.
And so in a similar vein and a similar critique as Amazing Spider-Man 2, the movie, right? Do you think there could be an issue with like too many villains in this game, where they'll have just like shallowed, rushed explanations or something like that, or like just
I
have
really don't
limited-
think so. Just because if I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 had like 3 villains in it or something, you have 3 villains condensed into a 2-hour movie. This is like probably gonna be a
that's what I'm
30-hour
saying, too.
game.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a game, yeah.
Plus,
So it's a whole different thing.
the way they've been talking about it, they sound like they want to make a Spider-Man 2, and it sounds like they're going to be making a Spider-Man 2. So
I would assume.
I would maybe they want to set stuff up for sequels, hold some stuff back, like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe they have not as much Green Goblin and have him maybe towards the end, and show that Osborn arc.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna make him probably the main antagonist, in the end.
Yeah, it's interesting because
yeah.
I wanted to talk about this too. Osborn, the way they're presenting him right now is interesting because he's not antagonistic really.
Yeah, he seems like still like the
yeah,
friendly.
He's like, it's weird though because if he was probably like 10 years younger, I would say like his character model. If he looked 10 years younger, I'd be like, oh yeah, he's gonna turn. But he looks like an older man, like late 50s.
Yeah, which again, this is also bringing in that they have creative freedom when it comes in terms of what they're doing. So
like if they want to make a Norman
yeah.
Osborn that's never going to end up being a goblin, that'd be really cool. New take,
Yeah, he does look a bit older in the PS. on Spider-Man PS4. He does.
Yeah. Plus, we've seen that he's running for mayor. We've seen the propaganda signs everywhere. Also, there was the way the trailer was cut. I've already talked to some people, and yeah, I am aware you can cut trailers to make it look deceiving, but in that trailer, the way they presented it, he greeted Peter. Like, he knew Peter, and he, like, greeted him as a friend. He's like, Peter, how are you? So,
yeah.
I don't know, like, maybe they want to make Osborn more of a mentor figure or something. I don't know.
Huh.
Like, take some chances with him, shake some things up. Be interesting.
That'd be cool, honestly. I'd be down for that, honestly. To have, like, a, just him be more of, like a Tony Stark to Homecoming Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, more of a, probably not to the same extent as, like...
Maybe he helps fund him to get all his gadgets or something.
Yes, yeah, something like that.
So
actually, there's... do you have anything to say about villains? Because I want to talk about another character, but not so much of a villain.
Yeah, quick, I just wanted to say, I'm hoping we see some other characters branch out, like maybe Harry Osborn. I know... Brian Intihar is how you pronounce it, I think. He was
Intihar. Yeah.
He did that interview with Game Informer, and people brought up like, oh, Venom, Doc Ock, and Sandman, and he kind of gave like a response. So yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see Kraven, like, even if it was just a side quest, like setting up something for a Spider-Man 2 the way that they did Hush in Batman.
Right.
It was just like, oh, here's the side quest. You find out Kraven's planning something. He dips out. See you in the sequel. Something like that. I feel like would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm sort of forgetting that, like, this isn't, a linear experience. Like, they could easily have these, villains that won't be in the main storyline or something like that, or, like, really impact the main story, but they could be side quests that, could just be as fun, and we'll see them later in a future game, like you said, Sandman or Venom, I think, even, which Venom I would be super interesting. I really want to see how they would do Venom. You know what I'm saying? Or even if they are, because I think did they say that Venom isn't going to be in Spider-Man PS4?
They haven't confirmed or denied it. So
they haven't?
No.
I thought they did.
But what were you mentioning? You said you wanted to say something about another character.
Miles Morales.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
So the way the E3 2018, well, no, was it E3 2018 or one of the first trailers for this game? No.
The first. Yeah,
I'm talking before. Yeah. The first time we saw him, right?
Yeah.
The way he was just presented in the trailer seemed to me like it was gonna be just like a character that was definitely gonna be in the game. But I didn't expect him to have as much involvement as he has in the San Diego Comic-Con trailer, right? Like, he seems to be very involved. We're definitely having a trio of MJ, Miles, and Peter, and I forgot Peter's blonde, not blonde, Asian assistant. I forgot.
Yuri.
Yuri, thank you. Yeah. So, like, I assume Yuri's gonna be definitely more with Peter. I feel like Yuri won't really interact with MJ or Miles, but I just didn't anticipate Miles having that much of a moving role in the narrative on Peter's end of things. Right?
Yeah, the way they're presenting it feels like it's a team.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But now I'm thinking, like, all right, are we gonna see Miles in the suit towards the story? Like, are we? Because this is a few years. Like, he's been Spider-Man for a few years.
Like,
it's not like
late
he's brand
20s.
new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's not like he's fresh up Spider-Man just a few months ago. Like he's established. And that also leads me to believe that if they were gonna make Miles an established, hero, he'd be somewhat established in his powers and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to see your take on that. Like,
I'm curious to see the way they present Miles, because if they wanted to maybe have Miles' origin be told in this, that'd be really cool. Okay. The way I could see them present that is, like, we see that MJ is sort of doing, like, investigation work. So maybe she's trying to figure out stuff that's going on in Oscorp that's, like, shady stuff, because we know Peter got the spider bite.
Right.
So maybe she's investigating, something happens to Miles, he gets his powers that way. I don't know. But I want to hear your take on this, because obviously they presented the three of them as a team or a unit in the last trailer. And we know...
Absolute unit.
We know that Peter and Spider-Man, both sides of him, are playable. We also know that Mary Jane is playable. So do you think that Miles is going to be playable also?
I just don't see them making a Spider-Man game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then saying or even showing Miles to his extent, and him not being playable in some fashion. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, but I can easily just see him not doing it. I can see them not doing it, but I feel like they have to do it, man. Like,
yeah, I could see like a mission
because people
or something.
have been like, people have been like yearning for anything Miles Morales. I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
We're getting it this year too. His representation in this. We're getting the Spider-Verse movie that's centered on him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a lot of people really want to see more Miles. Not that they don't want to see Peter, but we've seen Peter 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people really want to see Miles, especially in the MCU as well. With even that little subtle remark from Donald's character in Homecoming mentioning his nephew. You know what I'm saying? Like that being Miles. Like, you know, like everyone's just yearning for Miles, right? So I think he will be playable in some capacity. I don't think it'll be a big deal. As in, like, I don't think it'll be like for like an extended amount of time. Maybe a mission or something like that.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe Spider-Man gets captured by the the group of villains, the Sinister Six and everything, and it's just a side thing where Yuri's like, well, Miles isn't ready, but we like need him to help, so they just send him in. You know what I'm saying? Like that, cool, something like that. Maybe. So, but maybe, like what you said too about him having that arc, maybe in a similar fashion of like we see Osborn have his arc of going into the Green Goblin character. Maybe we see the same thing, like you said, with Miles. Like maybe during the events of the game, Miles, does his whole arc. Yeah, that'd be
cool.
Yeah. For sure.
But another route they could take for Miles integration, I feel like, is they've confirmed in interviews again that they're going and planning on releasing post-game DLC.
The City That Never Sleeps DLC. Yeah,
right. So the extent of the DLC we don't know. We've seen open world games get year-long releases for post-game stuff. So do you think there's a potential? This is what I wanted to present to you earlier. Do you think there's a potential for tie-ins moving forward? Not necessarily like, oh, this is related to movies. I'm just saying like releasing around the same time to get like to capitalize on that hype, because we have 2 Spider-Man films coming out this year after the release of Spider-Man PS4. We have Venom in October, which again they have not mentioned anything about Venom, and then we have Spider-Verse in December. So I think they have the opportunity to maybe release a Venom episode in October. Like Venom breaks out into the city. Eddie Brock is out there. It's on Halloween or something. Go stop him.
That would be so dope.
Right, dude?
October, man, that'd be really dope.
It comes out in October. Drop an Eddie Brock thing in there. They're probably going to reference him in the game, because if this is 8 years into his career, he's probably already encountered Venom.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I think there's potential there.
I really like that idea.
Especially we've seen them tying into the movies with the suits and stuff. I could see them like capitalizing on the momentum of everything else that's going on.
Of course, yeah. Just do it like Battlefront style with EA and how they do their
their seasons.
DLCs. Yeah, they have seasonal, around the movies. Like right now, solo season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I dig that. I dig that a lot. And then, then
Spider-Verse would be crazy too.
December. Yeah.
Because you could do a Miles chapter. You could do like an entire campaign with him, like they did with, again, comparing to Arkham, they did the Catwoman stories, the Nightwing ones, all those sort of things. I think there's potential there that they could really capitalize on, unless they want to save stuff for sequels, but they could always
really
continue
put money on this. I'd really put money on that.
Yeah, I really think something will happen with it, even if it's just like a costume or something.
Yeah, I started drafting a script for a future video I'll make, probably something down the line, like kind of near the release of this game. But this is going to be a very, very far-fetched launch out, so stay with me, right? Just stay with me, right? So, as you know, the MCU exists. Okay,
right.
All these movies connect to each other. Obviously, most of these movies stand alone, are a little ancillary on themselves, but they all connect to this grand universe, right? Now, in this game, it is confirmed that within the worlds, that we have the Avengers Tower, as well as Doctor Strange,
Sanctum Sanctorum.
Of Sanctorium. Yeah, that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So we have those two locations, right? Now, those could be just nods, you know what I'm saying, to them being like, okay, cool, like, they exist, whatever. But what if, right? This is crazy, right? But what if the Avengers game from Crystal Dynamics is going to somehow connect to Spider-Man PS4? Right now, obviously, it could be very, very more difficult. A lot more. Just hard in general to connect games to each other in that fashion, right? Because movies a little bit kind of easier. You just make sure it fits within narrative, the timeline, have some post-credit scenes. Obviously, it's more than that, but generally speaking, it's pretty simple to fit movies together in that vein, right? But to fit and to organize games from different studios and everything and make that fit in, I think it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's gonna happen.
A massive undertaking that's never been done before.
Exactly.
And I don't know how you could get so many different studios to work together in that way. It would be crazy to see it happen. And I think they would want to do something like that, or like they have they've obviously thought of that. It's just
for sure.
I don't know how the execution would work out, but I definitely think they have at least thought of it or tried to conceptualize a way to do it.
Yeah, and I don't know what that would entail for the extent of having games in a similar universe. I don't know if it's just they just nod at each other back and forth and just make it aware to all players that this is the same universe we're playing as, or these sequels of these games affect different outcomes of the next games that are from a different studio and stuff like that, in small tangential fashions. But just something is like, hey, the Avengers Tower, I think there's something there. I don't know. Probably not. Probably just nods to, hey,
if I had to bet, I would just say it's nods or cameos or something like that. I
would assume, but I'm just maybe. I'm just tossing it out there as a maybe. We'll see. Do you think we'll see? Oh my God, this name escapes me. Wow. Oh my God. Jeez. Netflix series Kingpin.
Daredevil.
Blind. Thank you, Daredevil.
Maybe. I know there was something in one of the newspapers they've shown that mentions his law firm.
Oh,
Nelson and Murdoch.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel like they have potential to have other characters in there because they have the opportunity to if they want to. And again, previous Spider-Man games have featured people like Human Torch, Wolverine. There's lots of Luke Cage even. There's integration. And like I said, that PS1 game had...
I remember Wolverine.
The PS1 game I was talking about had Daredevil in it, so... Yeah, I don't know. There is potential there. I feel like there's a lot to draw from. Again, maybe not in this one. Maybe just moving forward into sequels or whatever to flesh everything out. Right. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle it for sure.
And did you read that quote where they say that MJ is going to be very integral to the story and everything, and have a super big, she's a big deal. And what capacity do you think she'll be having a big deal? Do you think it'll just be in the story, based on story-wise, whatever, some of her motivations and stuff like that, maybe feel Peter, or do you think it's a little bit more deeper than that?
The way they're presenting it, I'm sure she has a role in the narrative because she was snooping around Oscorp in those trailers.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming her snooping is going to progress things in the story, maybe have repercussions on Peter, and we're going to be playing through some sort of campaign for her, not a full story, but because an arc will be seen
she's playable
to fruition. We're gonna do that.
Yeah, she's playable. I just don't know how entertaining those will be. I'm a little worried about that as well. Thinking
I mean, if it's
obviously it'll probably be short, quick. You know what I'm saying? Just get this, get that.
I think it'll be good to break up the pace.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I feel you.
So maybe like stealth missions or something, photography, stuff like that. I don't know. But I think there's potential there.
Think we'll see Gwen?
Nah, she's dead, man.
Dead?
Yeah, she's dead in this timeline.
Oh, wait, like, that's, like, confirmed?
No, dude, I'm just saying she's dead.
Oh, you think? Okay. All right, okay. All right. Don't like Gwen. Okay, I see, I feel you.
All right, so there's a few more things I want to touch on real quick.
What we got?
We can fire through these. There's not much to comment on. But it's worth noting that the second you beat the first mission, you get all of New York City at your will. You have the ability to explore all of New York City as soon as you finish the first mission. And the first mission is... I have this written down. Okay, so the game starts... Slight spoilers if you don't want to know how the game starts.
Spoilers.
I'll throw something up. Peter rolls out of bed, he suits up, he gets a call, he goes to take down Fisk, and that was shown in the trailer with the original suit. He takes down Fisk, gets him arrested, and then I'm assuming from there we end up getting the new suit, something happens, and then we move over to the whole Mr. Negative helicopter thing that we saw in that first gameplay demo. Remember when he called Fisk and he was in prison?
Yeah.
That goes to there,
gotcha.
And then after that, I think Mr. Negative takes that helicopter, or no, the helicopter crashed. So I think after that we see the raft break out. So I think that's how the story begins.
Gotcha. Okay, so
it is confirmed it starts the Fisk, though.
Yeah. Right. So you think the trailers that we've had, they depict the first 3 missions and...
Maybe not the first 3 missions, but like the first, like, arc.
Yeah, first hour, maybe?
Maybe like the first couple hours, yeah. But,
yeah, I feel that. Okay.
So yeah, that's how it starts out. And then the second you beat that Fisk mission, you can explore all of New York. And it's worth noting, there are some cool things you can do in New York for random crimes. Those are bank robberies, car chases, carjackings, drug deals, bomb defusals, and random shootouts in the street. So there's going to be a lot of dynamic crime going on in the city to keep you entertained while you're swinging around.
Which is good, too. Yeah, which is good, too. So, like, it's not just, like, just a shell of the city. Like, there's actually things going on. It's a living, breathing.
Right.
It'll make it feel more like living. Yeah, so definitely like that as well.
Again, in that same interview I was pulling from Game Informer, Brian Intihar was saying that he treats, and the entire team treated New York City as a character. So
yeah, that's good.
It's
good
cool.
To hear.
And lastly, one last thing I want to touch on. We did mention earlier in the episode that Arkham similarities are there. You can compare it. But Alana Pierce, again, bringing her up, she did a video basically breaking down the way the game feels, which I can link to in the description of the video. She did a really good job articulating how Spider-Man is different from Batman combat-wise. And from my knowledge and from what I was expecting, they're 2 very different characters. Like, Batman's more bulky and he's slower, but he's like panther fighting. And then Spider-Man, very acrobatic, very lanky, shooting stuff around, really relying on the webs. So there is some differences there, and there was a comparison that on the surface level, it's similar to Arkham because you got that reaction to parry and stuff like that. But in actuality, it's closer to Devil May Cry because you're really trying to prioritize combos, doing certain moves that you can plan out, and the combos would give you a combo meter that you can use for different abilities you have, and they have a focus bar that builds up, and if you use combos, it builds up faster, and the focus bar allows you to heal yourself or use like supers, like we were talking about earlier with the suits. So there's a lot of dynamics in the combat. I like Arkham combat, personally. I don't think it's that deep. You know, there's like combinations.
I think it's like a little bit more just like plain simple, kind of like low-key button mashing, but not really button mashing.
It is button mashing. Arkham is button mashing, Arkham is button mashing where you have periods where you time things to parry. That's about it. This seems very much more involved, which I'm a fan of. Again, she does a really good description of it in her video, so I'll link to that. But that's everything I have written down. So, closing thoughts on Spider-Man.
I think, obviously, when you look at what we have on deck, on the table, right? Like, we have Spider-Man game, We have Marvel's commitment on ending those like tie-in movie things, those just lackluster games that we used to get in the past. It was, what was it, 2015 or something like that when they said that publicly, and they're like, oh, probably way before that. But it was like, we're going to, you know, give these licenses to make these games to these devs that actually care, and that will, you know, treat it with decency and everything and make it a good. And this is the first time. Well, this is, I think, one of, or if not the first game that we're seeing from that statement.
It's the first AAA one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, with that being said, with Insomniac proving themselves in the games that require a lot of fluid movement and a lot of fun gameplay, hence Sunset Overdrive as my main example, and also Ratchet and Clank, which I started last night, but I'm definitely seeing how, you know, what they're good at, you know, in terms of that game is going to definitely translate into Spider-Man. Yeah, exactly. Like all the cool stuff you can do in there, the just being able to move, just the way you move in combat as well is, I felt, very gonna definitely transfer over to Spider-Man in that same sense as well, at least in Ratchet and Clank. And, you know, just with what we've seen so far, trailers and everything, I think it's safe to say, like, this is gonna be a good game. I think it's safe to be good. You know, I think if I think, like, realistically speaking, I don't think it's gonna match up to God of War or Last of Us. But like you said before, I don't think they're trying to do that. I think they're just trying to make just one of, or if not the best Spider-Man game they can, or that's ever existed. And I think that they're gonna pull it off. I think they're gonna do it. I think they have all the elements on play to make it happen.
Yeah, I really think that it's hard to imagine a world where this is not my favorite Spider-Man game after its release.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Because I love Insomniac. I've always loved Insomniac, from Spyro the Dragon through Ratchet. I've tried some other one-off projects, and I really think they're a talented studio. So, yeah, I have very high hopes for Spider-Man. Like I said, one of, if not my favorite superheroes ever. I think there's so much to pull from. There's so much opportunity to deliver a Spider-Man game where it's just about you being Spider-Man. Because that's, if you think about it, that's just like a phrase that, like, nobody's really nailed. Like the way in Rocksteady nailed "you are Batman," no one's nailed "you are Spider-Man." And ever since I played Arkham, I was like, man, it would be really great if somebody did this for Spider-Man. And I feel like we're about to get that. So I love this character. I'm so happy to see it being treated with respect, and I'm very excited for everything they've shown off. And I cannot wait to play this, and I'm going to spend probably, what's the tax on $400? Oh, for my state? For my state, I think it's like $425. I'm probably spending $425 on this game. So,
dude, we're gonna talk privately, but you're gonna get that pro console.
Yeah, man.
Okay. We'll talk about it privately after this cast, but
yeah, I'm getting that.
We're gonna make it happen. All right, we're gonna make it happen. I want you to see it on the channel. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Man, I hope so. I want that pro. I got some money on a GameStop card, so I might make my way over there this week.
I'm gonna say it right here. You're gonna get it.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna get it.
You're gonna get it by any means necessary or required.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But shout out Spider-Man. And before we wrap, I feel like we're about to end. Got to do the weekly February 22nd, 2019 Game Watch. What's up? What's poppin'? It's your boy, Podcast on the Podcast. Anthem, Days Gone, Trials Rising, Metro Exodus, and the Rumored Dreams have not moved. There's been no movements. There's still a cold on the Western Front as of right now. So, yeah, that's it. That's all we got.
All right, well. So, I liked this. This was a good episode.
I enjoyed it, too. It was all good. Bet. Shout out to Spider-Man. Shout out.
If we do cover Tomb Raider, I'm interested to see how that goes, because I haven't played any of the Tomb Raider games recently.
I haven't played them either. I mean, I'm down. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to go, but...
Yeah, we'll figure it out, so...
I'll just go based off of what other people have said and what I've heard. You know what I'm saying?
So...
And, like, with the confusion with how this arc is all going, and, like, how... And, like, the lack of dual pistols, but that's whole nother cast.
Right.
Whole
so, cast, if you stuck around this long, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video in the podcast, you can give us a thumbs up so you know that we know that you know that you're enjoying it. I think that made sense. So,
Somewhat, yeah.
But like I said, we want to do this fall preview for the rest of the summer, most likely, considering we don't have a lot of news to talk about. So if there's any games coming out this fall you want to see us cover, be sure to comment down below and let us know what you want to hear us talk about coming in 2018, as well as what your expectations and excitement are for Spider-Man. Because obviously you just heard us rant about it for almost an hour. Cannot wait for this game, so we want to hear from you. And if you want to talk to us on Twitter, where can they find you, Kevin?
They can find me at the KDays123. I tweet a lot of, obviously, about gaming, music stuff as well. Yeah, I frequent the Source channel. Make sure to say subscribe to all the latest and greatest on PlayStation we have here. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell as well. Keep updated and make sure to keep, don't rely all your trust on that sub box. It's a little wanky, so make sure to hit that bell so you'll be notified when we upload on a weekly basis. So, yeah, shout out to y'all who made it this far. Shout out, likes, comments are appreciated, all that good stuff. And, yeah.
Yep. And you can follow me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. It's listed on the bottom of the screen right now. Again, yeah, I'm probably going to be tweeting about Spider-Man, Batman. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. So, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.